and this is the big show. Where are we? Who are we? The Super Bowl recovery is still in full effect, I'm afraid. I know it's been a few days, but we both needed a break to regain some energy because we are in the final push, folks. Less than 100 subs away from me being able to shove ads down your throat, all so I can dive headfirst into a room full of pennies, Scrooge McDuck style. And, or more importantly, doing our big show live. All the equipment is set up, the graphics department has been burning the midnight oil to get those ready, and so long as I do my job as host, we'll see the audience continue to choose us for their wow entertainment. And what better way to get that started than by bringing out tonight's guest? Now, you may not have seen their work yet, but you will. They're the talk of the industry and the Tier 6 British heavy cruiser. Give it up for Surrey.
Thank you for having me on.
No, not you. You get back into my phone. Give it up for Surrey. So we can discuss this immediately. Let me get the commander and modules up on the big screen, and you'll see I don't have all the modules unlocked, as I just got this yesterday evening, so things are subject to change. You can also see I've got Billiam Tennant on as my commander rather than the big bruiser Bruce Fraser, and that is because I feel like these ships need all the agility they can get due to their relative fragility. So I'm going to be pumping my promotion orders into Bill for the next couple of weeks, and I'll have him up to 14 Legendary 2 or 3 in time for the Albemarle. Right now, my impressions can be summarized in one piece of advice: don't get shot. But that's not all that different from any other cruiser below Tier 7, so how is the playstyle unique here? Well, they kind of feel like they're somewhere between the French and Italian cruisers. But Surrey does have one thing to aid in the dreaded bottom tier match, and that is a heal. And while it ain't a great heal, it's what my college ex also used to describe me: better than nothing. On to this match. We are on Sleeping Giant. And I started the match by moving into Cruiser Alley. This ship doesn't have a lot of range, and you know I like to be more centrally located anyway, so I did not go sit behind the banana island that the majority of the blue battleships are guarding with their lives. And so far, this ship seems designed to be more of a damage over time ship, not unlike a light cruiser, but with harder hitting, if slower, reloading guns. You may also see me shoot AP a few times in this round, but only sub 10 kilometers. But by far, the default ammo type in this ship should be HE. And the HE, I am pleased to report, is very good. It gets the British 1/4 penetration values and has a pretty decent chance to start a fire, of which you can boost with your commander skill, but I prefer intuitive or intuition or whatever it's called, because I want to know when I'm targeted, as I like to look good if people are checking me out. You can also see we have pretty decent arcs on the shells. Not quite a rainbow like the Atlanta, but the shells definitely have some travel time. So I'm still getting used to that. But we'll sit here on our duff and just take out this Helena. Alright, that is one. And now, we're the tube by tube. Alright, let's just sneak these through here. I really hope my teammate doesn't block those, but as it turns out, it won't even matter, because that Mutsu is going to die by somebody else's hands anyway. Alright, I am going to pack up my malt vinegar and my brown sauce to head over to B, as there's just nothing left over here. Or so I thought. It turns out that there is a red destroyer lurking in these parts, and while it could be argued that I should assist these 3 battleships, I would also say allocating 4 ships to deal with 1 is a bad use of resources. So I'm going to head to the center and aid the rest of my team while adding to our cap collection. And I'm trying to glean as much info on the remaining red ships as possible, because knowledge is power, and I will use these big shell arcs to drop some HE on the Gneisenau and attempt to get some cap resets. Alright, there we go. And I'm just going to pester this ship as much as I can. And it's not much, but it is free damage. But, uh-oh, our Akatsuki must have gotten themselves spotted, and it's probably not going to turn out well for them. So I'll just keep passing out the HE hits. Puff, puff, blast. Puff, puff, blast. Our destroyer, well, they go down, and suddenly my popularity has rocketed like the nerdy girl in high school who gets a makeover, and suddenly she's nominated for prom queen. And just like her, I will turn away, because where was this attention before? You only like me for my perm. You hear me, Freddie Prinze Jr.? I can't explain why this Gneisenau turns away, but they do. And we have 3 caps, and they don't even have 1. They still have both of their destroyers, so I'm a little surprised they aren't actively trying to take our caps. The Shiratsuyu will eventually start capping C as our battleships get in line and roll out like Autobots. The Red Dallas should be headed towards D to get that cap, but who really understands ship migration patterns? Sir David Attenborough should consider doing a documentary exploring them. And so here I am, just continuing to do cruiser things. Lobbing shells over. I'm lucky, I start a fire. But I'm just taking advantage of the spotted ships and targeting whichever ones I can. But speaking of migratory patterns, the Red Colorado. We're 8 minutes into this game, and I don't know for certain, but I'd guess they spawned on the B side and have spent the entire match traversing around A. When you're in a ship that's slow, you really need to plan accordingly. Position yourself to take advantage of your ship's strengths and weaknesses. If it's going to take you half the match to get into position to maybe be able to shoot 1 ship, and then you've wasted half the match. You really only get about 30 possible salvos in a round in most battleships, so every time you're not shooting, your potential damage is getting lower and lower. Now, I'm taking a guess here that these ships are going to turn in and hug this island tight. So I'm going to drop my torpedoes on that corner while I head into A, because I know the T-61 is on there, and there are no battleship threats to me there. So it's time for me to do my thing. I am spotted. So where are they? Ah, hello there. So I hit the hydro, and let's get to it. I'm expecting torpedoes. Torpedoes? This is a destroyer, right? They do shoot torpedoes. Maybe they didn't have them ready. Oh, nope. There they are. So let's take out this T-61 with this shot. Ew. Well, not going to be mad. A battleship shot a destroyer. I'm glad. That is a good learned behavior. And I'm sure you can all do the math now. For Jerk to get a Kraken, he must sink every last ship in the game. Was that a yoink? Sure. but I would and I will do the exact same thing. Hakuna Matata. This DeGrasse is a fast ship, so it's going to take me a couple salvos to dial this in. And you're going to see sometimes your teammate gets the last shot in, sometimes it's you. This is just the way things go in this game, and to really drive that home, watch this Nick sequence. So, I'm going to get this cap here and turn around. Right, we know where these battleships are. I did get a torpedo in on that Gneiss now, and it took a little bit of flooding, so they should be relatively weak. I'm sure my teammates are pummeling them now, though. Why are these battleships filing into A? This is a bad idea. You do not want to be in this area if you are a battleship, but again, you've got to live and learn, so let's let these guys learn from their mistakes. And this this is kind of a funny thing here. Because these battleships are filing into A, they won't have a shot to finish this Gneiss now. And I'm sure that it looks like I'm going to torp this Gneiss now, but I'm not actually going to, because one of these battleships, look at how low they get them. But they don't have an angle on it anymore. But I will, so I'm just gonna come around this corner and do a yoink. I'm gonna take a torp, but you know what? I've been saving all my health all this time. And these are the things we do for quality programming, right? So, because I've held on to my health, this gives me the option to do some dumb stunts. Or what do they call it? Cunning stunts at the end of the game. Colorado blasts the hell out of that island, and I've got roughly 25 seconds to take this Colorado out. That Colorado's guns will absolutely ruin me. Look, my team's telling me to get back. They don't know who they're dealing with. I get my torps out, and I know the Colorado has a very good torpedo belt. But Dev Strike. So now we have the real Kraken hunt. And I'm getting targeted by the Shiratsuyu, and then it drops. So I'm wondering if they're going to try and hit me with torps. I still have about 35 seconds before my Hydro's ready, though. This is all or nothing now. And I really expected the Shiratsuyu to just run for the hills. But they are looking to add to their tally, and that will eventually result in the end of them. They're going to get spotted now. And now I just get to open up these British HE shells, which you'll see do a fair amount of damage. Confederate to go with my high caliber. Dev Strike. And now we get Kraken 194 in the Surrey, the greatest tier 6 tech tree heavy British cruiser in the world. Alright, let's check the scoreboard. Are you kidding me? 3,434 XP? That's ridiculous. How are you enjoying these British heavies? I still don't have the Hawkins, but I'm guessing that could be a beast at tier 4. Questions, comments, yada yada yada. If you prefer your toad in a hole, then hit like, and really, there's no option for dislike because there's no way anyone could not like a toad in a hole. And to make sure you never miss an episode of the premier culinary warship crossover show on YouTube, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll get back out there for another one, and we'll talk soon.